Roman Reigns is the biggest star that WWE has today, holding the record for the longest modern-day WWE Championship run, main eventing WrestleMania year after year after year, and cementing himself as truly one of the all-time biggest draws this business has ever seen. But at the same time, Roman Reigns is representative of a problem plaguing WWE, and in this video, we're going to examine why Roman is not only emblematic of it, but I think pushed WWE further down this road of over-relying on pure star power alone in a way they never did before. The idea of having a major star being the main attraction of your show over the wrestling or the storylines is not something that is inherently foreign to WWE. If you go back and look at the Attitude Era, this was not the peak of WWE storytelling. Yes, there were engaging stories that were told. Yes, there were engaging moments that were part of stories, but in large part, the reason why you showed up during the Attitude Era, the reason why you tuned in as a fan was less so for the in-ring acumen, less so for any of that, and more so for the fact that you knew that you would see stars like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Mankind, The Undertaker, and so many more on your screen, and they would be involved in something that, at least in that moment, was meaningful, that they would be involved in something that was entertaining. It is why some of the largest audiences that WWE's ever drawn for Monday Night Raw were during these segments, like the This Is Your Life segment. There's a reason why Stone Cold Steve Austin, despite being a shell of a wrestler during his prime in WWE, was the biggest draw when he was cutting these insane promos. And you could say the same with The Rock. Those guys made it work because despite the fact that people were tuning in for the star power, they knew they were also getting that entertainment. Now in WWE, that is simply not the case, and it is a problem that stems from Roman Reigns. The bloodline and Roman's rise in it is truly one of the best stories that WWE's ever told. I don't think that there's ever going to be any denial in reality of that. But the reality is, following the Jey Uso-Roman Reigns match at SummerSlam 2023, there was a sharp decline in how impactful and meaningful that story was. And post-Mania 40, you could argue that WWE, for nearly the past 2 years, has been coasting on the residual aura of the bloodline and Roman Reigns, and that now over 1,000-day world title reign that he had. And it is because the formula for WWE in the TKO era is pretty simple. They understand that they don't need to do as much in order to get fans in the building right now. They don't need to do as much to secure these multi-billion-dollar television and media rights deals that they've already secured. They don't need to do much in order to make the money that they want to make. So for them and for the production side of things, it is a fact that they viewed the WWE storytelling very differently than they did in the Attitude Era or other heights of the company. Whereas then, you would not only have that star power show up, but have them actually do things. Now, Roman just comes out, aura farms, and will do his catchphrase and leave, which is a far cry from the dramatic storytelling that we saw in the bloodline in 2022 and 2023, and nowhere near as entertaining as The Rock, Stone Cold, and others going at it during the Attitude Era. And my point here is not to say that Roman Reigns is not the draw that he was, or Roman Reigns is not good at wrestling or any of that. The point is that WWE took the wrong lesson from the creation of this massive star in Roman Reigns over the past couple of years. The lesson that they took was that there is a guy who, when he shows up, people tune in. And that is where their view of how important Roman is stops and ends. Because the reality is, Roman has not cut or been a part of a memorable segment ever since he returned post-Mania 40 loss. He has not been a focal point of any of those segments. He has not been a focal point or have really had any memorable matches since then. And again, you could argue that, sure, he's had good matches, but we're talking about a guy who's supposed to be the big star. Everything that Roman has done feels like it is just him clocking in, clocking out. It feels like it is just pure content for WWE to put out there. And if it feels that way, it's because it is. And it doesn't just stop with Roman. We have seen the same formula now affect wrestlers like Jey Uso, who, despite not being as good a wrestler as he was a couple of years ago, was over for a little bit, and now is been reduced to simply a catchphrase, a guy who can't cut a promo or wrestle in the ring. We have seen similar things in the devolution of the Cody Rhodes character, and as well as stars like CM Punk, who, sure, might have a cool promo every now and then, but it never leads to anything. And 9 out of 10 times when you watch it, it doesn't feel like it is attached to a character. It feels like a lot of times in WWE, wrestlers are just coasting. And you can tell when they do. It's very obvious when someone isn't invested in a promo or isn't taking it as seriously as you would expect a professional wrestler to do. And it impacts the way that people view the show. Because if you are there and you show up and you get a big reaction, but that's the end of it, and you provide no entertainment, you provide no promo, you provide no story, you provide no grounding characteristics of your professional wrestling persona, then why are we here? Again, I think WWE, despite having one of the most talented rosters, arguably the most talented roster they have ever had, is having the problem of just sending wrestlers out there on name value alone without any direction or central characteristics that ground them. And for me, that is a very easy fixable issue. However, I don't foresee WWE or TKO putting their foot on the gas, because if they were going to do that, it would have happened by now. Now, the fact that they are in their very cushy multi-year, multi-billion-dollar digital rights deals, and they have made sure that their business is going to be profitable in a couple of years, they have no reason to do so unless business takes a downturn, and that probably is not going to happen as quickly as some people think. But hey, I guess we'll see.